Good morning. Today we will be reading The Last Vampire, Book 2 by Christopher Pike. Excuse me. And for those of you who don't know The Last Vampire, we have the last book essentially was about Trista, a 5,000-year-old vampire. She had a meeting with a private detective who pried too much in her affairs, so she kills him. But there are files on the computer. So Ray, so she goes to the local high school. She befriends Ray, who is the detective's son, to help her find the files. And eventually she meets her master, and she kills him. And in the process, she got stabbed in the heart with a piano bench, a stake. And Ray pulls it out, and now we are about to see The Last Vampire, Book 2 by Christopher Pike. Alright, here we go. What is going on? I hear the whistle of the evil vampire. I hear the whistle of a flying blade. Too late, I realize to kill. I hear the whistle of a flying blade. Too late, I realize the skill of the leader. I dodge to the left, fast enough to save my own heart, but not fast enough to avoid having the knife planted in my right shoulder near my arm's socket. Up to the hilt, the pain is immense, and a wave of weakness shakes my limbs. Without wanting to, I fall to my knees, reaching up to pull out the blade. The other two run toward me at high speed, and I know it will be a matter of seconds before they are on me. Taking his time, the leader begins to descend the steps of the bleachers. I realize that the knife I have in me is my own. Obviously, the leader observed my little episode with Paul, yet had time to relieve him of my knife and be here to meet me at the Colosseum. How powerful is he? Can I, wounded as I already am, handle him? Good introduction. Alright. This is called the Black Blood. Alright. All these. Alright. I walk the dark and dangerous streets of L.A. Gangland, a seemingly helpless young woman with silky blonde hair and magnetic blue eyes, moving down Fifth-strewn alleys and streets where power is measured in drops of blood spilled by bullets sprayed from adolescent males who haven't learned to drive yet. I am near the housing projects, those archaic hotels of hostility where the checkout fee is always higher than the price of admission. Because of my supernormal senses, I know I'm surrounded by people who would slit my throat as soon as I ask the time of day or night. But I am not helpless or afraid, especially in the dark, at night, for I am not human. I, Alyssa Pern, of the 20th century, Sita of the ancient past, I am 5,000 years old, one of the last of two vampires. But there are only two of us left, I ask myself. Something is terribly wrong in Gangland, L.A., and it makes me wonder. In the last month, the Los Angeles Times has reported a string of brutal murders That leads me to believe Ray and I are not the only ones with special blood that makes us impervious to aging and, and most other human ailments. Ray is her boyfriend, who died, and she brought him back to life and made him a vampire, which goes against the rules of Krishna. The victims of those murders have been ripped open, decapitated, and in some cases, the articles say, drained of blood. It is this fact that has brought me to Los Angeles. I myself like blood, but I'm not eager to find more vampires. I know what our kind can do, and I know how fast we can multiply once the secret of procreation is known. Any vampire I may find this evening will not live to see the light of dawn, or perhaps I should say, the setting of the moon. I am not crazy about the sun, although I can bear it if I must. A full moon rides high above me as I step onto Exposition Avenue and head north, not far from the last murder occurred. A 16-year-old girl found yesterday in the bushes with both her arms torn off. It is late after midnight, and even though it is mid-December, the temperature in the mid-60s. Winter in Los Angeles is like moon made of green cheese, a joke. I wear black leather pants, a short-sleeved black top that shows my sleek midsection. My black boots barely sound as I prowl the uneven sidewalks. I wear my hair pinned up beneath a black cap. I love the color black as much as the color red. I wonder why. I know I look gorgeous. Cool stainless steel touches my right calf where I have hidden a 6-inch blade. But otherwise, I know I look gorgeous. Cool stainless steel touches my right calf where I have hidden a 6-inch blade. But otherwise, the whole SWAT team couldn't stop me. Certainly, I decide a young vampire will be asleep. But who is this youngster, and who made him or her? Disturbing questions. 3 young male wait for me 100 yards down the street. I cross to the other side, but they move to intercept me. One is tall and slim, the other squat as an old stump. The third has the face of a dark angel brought up on the wrong side of the pearly gates. He is clearly the leader. He smiles as he sees me trying to get away from him and his buddies, flexing his powerful biceps as if they were laws unto themselves. I see he carries a gun under his dirty green coat. The others are unarmed. The 3 jog toward me as I pause to consider what to do. Of course, I could turn and flee. Even if they were training for the Olympics, they couldn't catch me, but I don't like to run from a fight, and I am suddenly thirsty. The smile of the leader will fade. I know as he feels the blood drain from his body into my mouth. I decide to wait for them. I don't have long to wait. Hey, babe, the leader says as they surround me in a fidgety semicircle. What are you doing here by your lonesome? Lost? I appear at ease. No, I'm just out for a walk. What are you guys up to? They exchange smirks. They are up to no good. What's your name? The leader asks. Alyssa. What's yours? He grins like a young god he thinks he is. Paul. Hey. You one beautiful woman, Alyssa. You know that? And I appreciate beauty when I see it. I bet you do, Paul. Do you appreciate danger when you see it too? They cackle. I am funny, they think. Paul slaps his leg as he laughs. Are you saying you're dangerous, Alyssa? He asks. You look like a party babe to me. Me and my stooges, we're going to a party right now. You want to come? It's going to be hot, I consider. Are you three the only ones going to this party? Polly likes that I'm sharp. Maybe, but maybe they all. But that's all you need. He takes, he takes, he takes a step closer. There's alcohol on his breath, a Coors beer, Marlboro cigarettes, in his coat pocket, close to his gun. Brave boy. He puts his right hand on my left shoulder, and his grin is more of a leer. He adds, or maybe all you need is me, babe. What do you say? Want a party? I look him in the eye. No. He blinks suddenly. My gaze has been known to burn mortal pupils when I give it free rein. But I have held something in check for Paul, and so he is intrigued, not scared. He continues to hold on to my shoulder. You don't wanna go saying no to me, honey. I don't like that word. Oh, we'll see. Really? He glances back at his friends, and then nods gravely in my direction. You don't look like you's from around here, but around here, there's two ways to party. You either do it with a smile on your face, or you do it screaming. You know what I mean, Alyssa? I smile finally. Are you going to rake me, Paul? He shrugs. It's up to you, honeysuckle. He draws his piece from his coat, a Smith & Wesson, a .45 revolver that he probably got for his last birthday. He presses the muzzle beneath my chin. And it's up to you, Colleen. You call your gun Colleen? He nods seriously. She's a lady. Never lets me down. My smile grows. Paul, you are such a simpleton. You can't rape me. Put it out of your mind if you want to be alive some Christmas day. It's just not going to happen. My boldness surprises him, angers him. But he quickly grins because his friends are watching, and he has to be cool and in control. He presses the gun deeper into my neck, trying to force my head back. But of course I don't move an inch. And this confuses him as much as my casual tone. You tell me why I can't just have you right now, he asks. You tell me, Alyssa, huh? Before I blow your goddamn head off. Because I'm armed as well, Paul. He blinks. My gaze is beginning to fry his brain. What you got? A knife? A very sharp knife. Do you want to see it? He takes a step back, letting go of me, and levels the gun at my belly. Show it to me, he orders. I raise my right leg in front of him. My balance is as solid as that of a marble statue. It's under my pant leg. I take it out, and maybe we can have a little duel. Acting like a stud, throwing his pals a lecherous glance, Paul cautiously reaches up inside my pant leg. Throughout the act, he doesn't realize how close he is to having his head removed by my right foot. But I have compassion, and I don't like to drink from a gusher. It might stain my clothes. Paul's eyes widen as he feels the knife and quickly pulls it free from the leather strap. He handles it lovingly, showing his friends. I wait, acting impatient. I want it back, I say finally. We cannot duel if you hold both weapons. Paul cannot believe me. He is tired of my insolent manner. I begin to tire of him as well. You's a smart-mouthed bitch. Why should I give you this knife? You might stick it in me while I'm loving you. I nod. Oh, I'm going to stick it in you. Be sure of that. I don't mind that you and your buddies prowl these streets like hungry panthers. This is a jungle, and only the strong survive. I understand that better than you can imagine. But even the jungle has rules. Don't take don't take what you don't need, and if you do, be a sportsman about it. But you're not a sportsman, Ball. You've taken my knife, and I want it back. Give it to me right now, or you will suffer unpleasantly. I stick out my hand and add in a voice as dark as my long life, very unpleasantly. His anger shows. His cheeks darken with blood. He is not a true animal of the jungle, or he would recognize a poisonous snake when he saw it. He is a coward. Rather than hand over my knife, he tries to slash my open palm with it. Of course he misses because my hand is no longer where it was an instant before. I have withdrawn it to my side, at the same time launching my left foot at his gun. I hit only the revolver, not his hand, and see that the other three don't, the weapon landing on the roof of a 3-story apartment complex off to one side. Paul's buddies back up, but he continues looking for his gun. His mouth works, but words are slow to form. Huh? He finally says. I reach out and grab him by the hair, pulling him close, my left hand closing on his hand that holds my knife. Now he feels my gaze as beamed through a magnifying glass set in the hot sun. He trembles in my grip. And for the first time he must realize how many different kinds of animals are in the jungle. I lean close to his ear and speak softly. I see that you have killed before, Paul. That's okay. I have killed too, many times. I'm much older than I look. And as you now know, I am also much stronger. Ooh, this is getting good. I am going to kill you, but before I do, I want to know if you have any final requests. Tell me quick. I'm in a hurry. He turns his head away, but his eyes cannot escape mine. He tries to pull away and finds we are momentarily welded together. Sweat drips from his face like the river of tears the families of his victims have shed. His partners back farther away. Paul lowers his lip, trembling. Who are you? He gasps. I smile. I'm a pretty girl, like you said. I lose my smile. No final requests? Too bad. Say goodbye to mortality. Say hello to the devil for me. Tell him I'll be there soon to join you. My words, a poor joke to torment a victim I care nothing for. Yet there is a grain of truth in them. I feel a wave of pain in my chest as I pull Paul closer. It is from the wound when a stake impaled me the night Yaksha perished, a wound that never really healed. Since that night, 6 weeks earlier, I have never been totally free of pain, and I have begun to suspect I never will be. The full extent of the anguish comes upon me at unexpected moments. Fiery waves that roll up like lava. I gag and have to bend over and close my eyes. I have suffered 100 serious injuries in my 50 centuries, I tell myself. Why does this one not leave me in peace? Truly, a life in constant pain is the life of the damned. Yet I did not disobey Krishna when I made Ray. Not really. I tried to convince myself. Yet Yaksha believed I still had the Lord's grace. Oh God, I whisper, and clench Paul's blood-filled body to me as if it were a bandage that could seal my invisible scar. I feel myself begin to faint, but just when I feel I can take no more of the surging pain, I hear footsteps in the distance. Quick-sounding footsteps moving with the speed and power of immortal. The shock of this realization is like cold water on my burning agony. There's another vampire nearby. I jerk upright, open my eyes. Paul's buddies are 50 feet away and still backing up. Paul looks at me as if he is staring into his own coffin. I didn't mean to hurt you, Alyssa, he mumbles. I suck in a deep breath, my heartbeat roaring in my ears. Yes, you did, I reply and slam the knife down into his right thigh, just above the knee. The blade goes in cleanly, and the tip comes out red and dripping on the other side. An expression of pure horror grips his face, but I have no more time for his excuses. I have a bigger game to bag. As I let go of him, he falls to the ground like a trash can that has been kicked over, turning. I run in the direction of the immortal footsteps. I leave my knife behind for Paul to enjoy. The person is a quarter mile away, on the rooftops, leaping from building to building. I cut the distance in half before leaping onto the rooftops myself, getting above the 3 stories in 2 long steps. Dashing between shattered chimneys and rusty fans, I catch a glimpse of my quarry, a 20-year-old African-American male youth, with muscles bulking enough to squash TVs, yet a vampire's strength has little to do with this muscle power. Power is related to the purity of the blood, the intensity of the soul, the length of the life. I, who was created at the dawn of civilization by Yaksha, the first of the vampires, am exceptionally strong. Leaping through the air, I know I can catch the other vampire in a matter of seconds. Yet I hold back on purpose. I wish to see where he leads me. That my prey is indeed a vampire, I don't doubt for a second. His every movement matches those of a newborn bloodsucker. Also, vampires emit a very subtle fragrance, the faint odor of snake venom, and the soul who runs before me smells like a huge black serpent. The smell is not unpleasant, rather intoxicating to most mortals. I have often used it in the past, on lovers and foes alike, yet I doubt this young man is even aware of it. But he is aware of me. Oh yes, he doesn't stop to attack, but continues to run away. He is afraid. I ponder this. How does he know my power? Who told him? My questions are all the same. Who made him? It is my hope that he runs to his Maker for help. The pain in my chest has subsided, but I am still thirsty, still anxious for the hunt. To a vampire, another vampire's blood can be a special treat, salt and pepper sprinkled on a rare steak. I move forward without fear. If the guy has partners, so be it. I will destroy them all, then fly back to Oregon in my private jet before the sun comes up, my veins and belly full. Briefly, I wonder how Ray is doing without me. His adjustments to being a vampire has been long and painful. I know. Without me there, he will not feed. I hear an ice cream truck nearby in the middle of the night. Odd. My prey comes to the end of of the row of apartment buildings and leaps to the ground with one long flying stride. He stumbles as he contacts the earth. I could take this opportunity to land on his back and break every bone in his spine, but I let him continue on his way. I now know where he is headed. Exposition Park, the home of LA's museums, Memorial Sports Arena, and Memorial Coliseum. It is the Coliseum where the 1984 Olympics were held. That, I guess, is his ultimate destination. He speeds across the vacant parking lot like a roadrunner in the cartoon. It is lucky there are no mortals standing around to watch me chase him because I am the coyote, and this is not Saturday morning TV. I'm going to catch him, and there will be little of him left when I am done. The tall fence surrounding the Colosseum is already broken open, and this fact slows me slightly. Briefly, I reconsider my boldness. I can easily handle 5 or 6 vampires such as the guy I am chasing, but not a dozen, certainly not 100. And how many there are, I really don't know. For me, the Colosseum may turn out to be like the one in ancient Rome. Yet I am a gladiator at heart, and although I enter the Colosseum cautiously, I do not stop. I am inside the structure only 2 minutes when I smell blood. A moment later, I find the mangled body of a security guard. Flies buzz above his ripped-out throat. He has been dead several hours. My prey has slipped from my view, but I follow his movements with my ears. I am on the lower level, in the shadows beneath the stands. He is inside the Colosseum proper, running up the bleachers. My hearing stretches out, an expanding wave of invisible radar, as I stand rock still. There are 3 other souls in the Colosseum, and none of them is human. I track the steps. They meet together at the north end of the building. Speak softly, then fan out to the far corners. I doubt that they know my exact whereabouts, but their plan is clear. They wish to surround me, come at me from every direction. I don't wish to disappoint them. Leaving my shelter, I stride openly down a concrete tunnel and out onto the field, where the moon shimmers on the grass like radioactivity on an automatic blast site. I see the 4 vampires at the same time. They see me. They pause as I hurry to the 50-yard line. I let them come to me. I think. I want to observe them to see if they have weapons. A bullet in the brain, a knife in the heart might kill me, although the wooden stake through my chest did not 6 weeks ago. The pain awakens with the memory, but I will it away. These 4 are my problem now. The moon is almost straight overhead. 3 vampires continue to move to their corners. The one at the north end is in place and stands motionless, watching me. He is the only Caucasian, tall, thin, his bony hands like a fossilized skeleton. Even in the silver light, in the distance, I note the startling green of his eyes, the bloodshot veins that surround his glowing pupils, like the strings of a red-strained spiderweb. He is the leader, and the cocky smile on his acne-scarred face reveals his confidence. So who is the leader? He is 30, maybe, but he will get no older, because I believe he is about to die. He is the one I wish to question, to drink from. I think of the security guard, the girl in the morning paper. I will kill him slowly and enjoy it. None of them appears to carry any weapons, but I look around for one for myself, regretting the loss of my knife, which I can fling over a quarter of a mile with deadly accuracy. It is mid-December, as I have said, but I see a collection of track and field equipment at the side of the field. The person in charge of equipment must have forgotten to put it away. I note the presence of a javelin. As the leader studies me, I move casually in the direction of the equipment, but he is sharp. The cold, ugly man. He knows what I am going for. With a hand movement, he signals to his partners to start toward me. The three dark figures move quickly down the steps. In seconds, they have cleared the bleachers and leaped onto the track that surrounds the field. But in those seconds, I have reached the equipment, lifted the javelin in my right hand. It is pity there is only one spear. I raise an empty left hand in the direction of the leader, still far away at the top of the bleachers. I would like to talk, I call, but I am fully capable of defending myself. The smile on the leader's face, over 200 yards away, broadens. He groans. His goons also grin, although not with the same confidence. They know I am a vampire. They eye the javelin and wonder what I will do with it. Such silly young immortals. I keep an eye on all three of them, although I continue to face in the direction of the leader. It is always a mistake to decide to die hastily, I call. The leader reaches behind and removes a knife from his back pocket. There is fresh blood on the tip. I see. I am not worried that he can hit me from such a distance, since my ability with my knife has only come after centuries of practice. Yet he handles the weapon skillfully, balancing it in his open palm. The young man whom I chased into the Colosseum is in front of me, between me and the leader. 4 against 1, I think. I will improve the odds. In a move too swift for mortal eyes to follow, I launch my javelin toward the young man. Too late he realizes my strength and agility. He tries to jump aside, but the tip catches him square in the chest, going through his rib cage and spine. I hear the blood explode in his ruptured heart. A death grunt escapes his lip as he topples, the long sharp object sticking through his body. I hear the whistle of a flying blade. Too late. I realize the skill of the leader. I dodge to the left, fast enough to save my own heart, but not fast enough to avoid having the knife planted in my right shoulder near my arm socket, up to the hilt. The pain is immense, and a wave of weakness shakes my limbs. Without wanting to, I fall to my knees, reaching up to pull out the blade. The other two run toward me at high speed, and I know it will be a matter of seconds before they are on me. Taking his time, the leader begins to descend the steps of the bleachers. I realize that the knife I have in me is my own. Obviously, the leader observed my little episode with Paul, and yet had time to relieve him of my knife and be here to meet me at the Colosseum. How powerful is he? Can I, wounded as I already am, handle him? I suspect Paul is no longer suffering any pain from his leg wound. The other two vampires, not the leader, are my immediate problem. I manage to pull the knife free as the first one lowers his head to ram me. In a slashing motion, I let fly my blade and watch as it goes deep into the top of the man's cranium, yet I am too weak to dodge aside, and although already dead, he strikes me and knocks me over. I hit the ground hard. 200 pounds of human meat on top of me. Blood pours over my side from a severed artery deep in my shoulder, and for a moment I fear I will pass out. But I do not lie down easily. Not while an enemy still stands. I shake off the dead vampire as the third one raises a foot to stomp my face. This one lacks speed. However, and I am able to avoid the blow. Still on the ground, rolling in my own blood, I lash out with my left foot and catch his right shin below the knee, breaking the bone. He lets out a cry and falls, and I am on him in an instant, pinning his massive black arms to the grass carpet with my knees. In the distance, I see the leader continue to approach slowly. Still confident, I will be their easy prey. For the first time, I wonder if I should stay around. I have no time to question the vampire below me at length, as I would like to. I grab his hair, pulling at the roots. Who is your leader, I demand. What is his name? I cannot be more than 25 feet and have been a vampire for longer than a month. He cannot be more than 25 and have been a vampire for longer than a month. A babe in the woods. He doesn't realize the full extent of his peril, even after having seen what I did to his friends. He sneers at me, and I believe he will have a short experience of immortality. Go to hell, bitch, he says. Later, I reply, had the situation been different, I would have reasoned with him, tortured him. Instead, I wrap my hands around his neck, and before he can cry out, I twist his head all the way around, breaking every bone in his neck. He goes lifeless beneath me. The next moment, I am up and removing my knife from the skull of victim number 2. The leader sees me grasp the weapon, but neither accelerates nor slows his approach. His expression is an odd mixture of detachment and eagerness. Indeed, only 50 yards from me now, he looks like a neon nutcase. Well, I think he will be dead in a moment. Placing the knife in my left palm, I cock my arm and let the blade fly, aiming directly for his heart. As he aimed for mine, I know that I will not miss. And I don't, in a sense, but I do. He catches the knife in mid-air, inches from his chest. He catches it by the handle, something even I could not do. Oh no, I whisper. The guy has the power of Yaksha. I don't suppose he wants to talk about our difficulties. Turning, I bolt for the tunnel through which I entered the field. My shoulder throbs, my heart pounds. Each step I take, I feel, will be my last. The knife will come hurling again, cut me between the shoulder blades, plunge deep into my heart, which has already been so badly injured. Maybe it will be for the best. Maybe then the pain will finally stop. But in my heart, I don't want it to stop, because the pain, at least, makes me know that I am alive. And I cherish my life above all things, even if I do sometimes take life casually from others. And if I do die, before he dies, what will become of life on earth? No question. I know this guy is bad news. Yet he does not cut me down. He does not, however, let me go either. I hear him accelerate behind me, and I understand he wants to talk to me, under his own terms, before he drinks my blood. He wants to suck away all my power and feel me die in his arms. But that, I swear, is a privilege he will not have. Running down the long concrete tunnel, my boots pound like a machine gun bullets, his steps like burning tracers behind me, closing yard by yard. I simply do not have the strength to outrun him, yet it is not my intention to try. After killing the security guard, these brothers of the night did not bother to remove the man's revolver. Entering the Colosseum, overconfident in my invincibility, I didn't either. But now the gun is my last hope. If I can get to it before my assailant gets to me, I can teach him what it is like to bleed from terrible wounds. I am not large, only 98 pounds, naked, and I have already lost at least 2 pints of blood. Desperately, I need to stop to catch my breath and heal. The security guard's gun can give me that opportunity. I reach the corpse with the monster only 100 feet behind me. In a flash, he realizes my plan. As I pull the revolver free of its holster, out the corner of my eye, I see the powerful vampire wind up with the knife. He will use it now, and not care if he spills what is left of my blood. He must know how difficult bullets are to catch, to dodge, especially when fired by another vampire. Yet I still hope to dodge his knife throw. Gripping the gun firmly, I leap up as I pivot, flying high into the air. Unfortunately, my maneuver does not catch him by surprise. As I open fire, my knife, for the second time, plunges into my body, into my abdomen, near my belly button. It hurts. God, I cannot believe how unlucky I am. Yet there is a chance I can survive, and his good fortune is surely over. While coming down from my leap, I open fire, hitting him hitting him as best I can, even though he jerks to avoid a fatal wound. I put a bullet in his stomach, one in his neck, his left shoulder, 2 in his chest, as I hit the ground. I expect him to hit the ground, but he doesn't. Although staggering, he remains on his feet. Oh, Christ, I whisper as I fall to my knees. Will this bastard not die? Across the black shadows of the underbelly of the bleachers, we stare at each other, both bleeding profusely. For a moment, our eyes lock, and more than ever, I sense the disturbance in him. A vision of reality that no human, a vampire, should want to share. I am out of bullets. He seems to smile. I don't know what he's finding so amusing. Then he turns and shuffles away, and I cannot see him or bear him. Pulling a knife from my naked belly, I swoon on the ground, trying to breathe through a haze of red agony. I honestly cannot remember the last time I had such a bad night. Still, I am Sita from the dawn of humanity, a vampire of incomparable resiliency, unless, of course, I am to be compared to him, his friend, whose name I still do not know. He is not dead. I am sure of it. And after maybe 20 minutes of writhing on the concrete, I know I will survive. Finally, my wounds begin to close, and I am able to sit up and draw in a deep breath. Before taking the stake through the heart, my wounds would have closed in 2 minutes. I must be getting old, I mutter. I cannot hear any vampires in the vicinity, but police are closing in on the Colosseum. After putting my knife back in its proper place under my pant leg, I stumble back up the concrete tunnel onto the field. I find a hose and wash off as much blood as possible. My shoulder, my belly, they are not scarred, yet I have lost much blood, and I am terribly weak, and now I have to worry about the police. The cruisers park outside the arena. Somebody must have called about the gunshots. With so many bodies lying around, it would be a mistake to be caught inside the Colosseum. I would be taken downtown for questioning, where my messy clothes would be difficult to explain. I wonder if I should hide inside until things cool off. But no, that might take hours, if not days, and I'm anxious to return home and speak to Ray to figure out what to do next. But before I leave the arena, I check on the 3 vampires to make sure they are indeed dead. It is always possible, despite the severity of their wounds, that they could heal and rise again. To be doubly sure, I crack each of their skulls with the heel of my right boot. The grotesque acts cause me no qualms of conscience. I am, after all, just protecting the officers who might find them. I hurry in the direction of the least amount of noise, and am outside, over the fence, and in the parking lot, when a bright searchlight suddenly focuses on me. It is from a cruiser. Damn. It pulls up alongside me, and a cop who looks as if he has been eating donuts for the last 20 years stick his head out the passenger side. "What are you doing here at this time of night, young lady?" he asks. I appear anxious. "I'm trying to find my car. It broke down about an hour ago, and I went looking for help, and these boys started chasing me. They threw water balloons at me and threatened me." I shiver, catching his eye, pressing his belief buttons. But I managed to get away. The cop looks at me over my head to foot, but I doubt he notices the bloodstains on my clothes. In the dark, they would be hard to see on black clothes. Plus, my gaze has shriveled his will. He is swayed by my great beauty, my obvious youth, my long blonde hair, which I have let down. Let's see what time. All right. He throws his partner behind the wheel a look, then turns back to me and smiles. "You are lucky all they threw was water balloons," he says. This is no area to be walking alone at night. Hop in the back and we'll take you back to your car." It will appear odd to decline the offer. "Thank you," I say, reaching for the door. I climb in the rear seat of the patrol car. His partner, a younger man, glances back at me. "Were you inside the Colosseum just now?" he asks. I catch his eyes well. "No," I say clearly. "How could I possibly be in the Colosseum? The fence is 15 feet high." He nods like a puppet. "We just had some trouble in the area is all." "I understand," I say. A man calls on the radio. The fat officer explains how they ran into me. The man on the other end is not impressed with my story. He orders them to hold me until he arrives. There's a strength in the man's voice, even over the staticky line. I wonder if I will be able to control him as easily as the other 2. We sit and wait for the boss to arrive. The officers apologize for the delay. I consider drinking both officers' blood and leaving them dazed and incoherent, but I have always had a thing for cops. The fat one offers me a donut, which does little to satisfy my deeper hunger. The man who arrives is not LAPD, but FBI. He pulls up alone in an unmarked car, and I am told to get in up front. I do not resist. He introduces himself as Special Agent Joel Drake, and he has an aura of authority about him. A young man. He has blonde hair almost as light as my own, and blue eyes as well, although they are darker than mine. He wears a sea blue sport coat, extensive white slacks. He is strikingly handsome. I feel as I climb in beside him, like an actor in a series, Agent Vampire. There should be such a show. His face is tan, his features sharp and intelligent. He studies me in the dome light before shutting his door. He knows that I am soaking wet, although, once again, the bloodstains on my black outfit are all but invisible. The other officer drives off. "What's your name?" he asks. "Alyssa Pern. Where's your car?" "I don't know exactly. I've been walking for an hour, lost." "You say you got hit with water balloons thrown at you by a bunch of guys?" "You expect me to believe that?" "Yes," I say, and I catch his eye. Such beautiful eyes, really. I hesitate to blunt his will too forcibly, afraid it might damage him. Yet he is strong. He will not be moved without great power. Nevertheless, I cannot let him take me in for questioning. Lowering my voice, I pitch my tone in such a manner that he will feel as if I am speaking between his ears, as if he were, in fact, thinking about what I am saying. "I have done nothing wrong," I say gently. "Everything I tell you is true. I am a young woman, helpless, a stranger here. The best thing you can do is take me to my car." I have to stop. Okay, so I'd like to thank everyone for joining me today. And tomorrow we will continue reading The Last Vampire, Black Blood, and we will find out what Mr. Joel Drake will do with Alyssa, and find out more about this strong vampire that may have Yaksha's blood. But how? He was blown up. So that is very, very interesting. And self-promotion time. My name is Ruben Shoup. I am the YA horror author of Vampire Juice. If you like YA horror mystery adventures with plenty of laughs that is spooky and creepy, like Fear Street and The Lost Boys, and that has vampires and teen romance, then you may like Vampire Juice. The link is in the bio and is only 99 cents until January 1st. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.